Is it recording? Good morning. Today is October the 7th, and it's a good morning so far. And I'm going to do something different. I'm going to read the Wall Street Journal with you guys. I'm just going to read the headlines just to see what's going on. I'm not going to read the whole article just to see because it seems to be pretty interesting. Okay. Now, on the front page, hiring notches modest gains. Unemployment rates unexpected slide to 7.8%. Sparks political debate over health of jobs market. Okay. We all know about jobs. We need them to survive. Okay. Silicon Valley stock funk. A spy gear arms race transforms modern divorce. Now what is that about? Well, okay. Zynga employees have lost 1.4 billion or 79% of their paper wealth since the IPO. Now this is this was part of the Silicon Valley stock funk. Wow. Oh, this is very interesting. Sliding shares of newly public internet companies are depressing employees and their finances after years of long hours and high expectations. Really? Rank and file workers at four of the highest profile internet companies that began selling shares in the past 16 months have collectively lost about $9 billion on paper since their initial offerings, according to calculations by Compensation Research, Equal Inc. Company, and the Wall Street Journal. Most of the decline, $7.2 billion, is at Facebook Inc. Company. The average non-executive Facebook employee remains inevitable flush, holding stock or stock options valued at the average of roughly 2.5 million as of Friday. But they have lost roughly 2 million of wealth on average since the company's May IPO. Chief Executive Mark Zuckerberg last month said that the social network's sagging stock is hurting morale, and he predicted some employees will defect. Facebook declined to comment. Employees at social games maker Zynga and Company have endured a harsher blow to their wealth. Okay, why are these people losing so much money? And it's just the other day they had Facebook have 1 billion people on this internet site. What is going on? The drop has left non-executives their holding equal value at an average 132,000, down 79% from 635,000 at the time of its December 2011 IPO. In all, Zynga employees have lost 1.4 billion on paper since the IPO. Mikhail Virol, a 34-year-old general manager at Zynga, said he deferred plans to buy the Oakland, California home he is renting because the restricted stock unit he owns have lost value. Wow. It's a lot of money being made on these internet website companies. But they're losing a lot of money. So what we have to do is just realize that anything is not a guarantee to be successful, but that does not stop you from going forward on your plans. Now, I know the average person like me and some of you, we don't expect to make billions of dollars. But what we do expect is to have a company that is successful, an honorable company that is built on trust, and also love, and also a smart company. You don't want to do anything that you know is going to ruin you. Lying, cheating, being obnoxious. So we want to have our own and build up the company. Give jobs to other people. Enrich other people's lives. As I would always say, we are here for one another. And that's all to it. You can't get away from it. You can't get around it. And the more we do that and the more we teach that, things will be a lot better for all of us. Now, let's read some more. That was just a little bit on the Wall Street Journal front page. Now, it says, what's new? Okay, this is just a quick glance at what's new. 5 terrorist suspects will face charges in the U.S. Turkey's military fired artillery into Syria for the third straight day after a motor landed in Turkish countryside. Now, this is a shame what's going on over there in Turkey. All them people, just lives destroyed. For what? The world's largest plutonium producer dismissed 12,000 employees amid continuing labor strikes that jolted the South African currency to a 4-month low against the dollar. Wow. While the anti-Tokyo protests in major Chinese cities have ended, Japanese brands in the country are continuing to suffer as auto sales plunge and travel between the two countries has slowed sharply. German Chancellor Merkel plans to visit Athens on Tuesday in her first appearance at the epicenter of Europe's debt troubles since the crisis began. Baseball playoffs begin with the first ever one-game wild card round for 4 teams. The division series round starts Saturday, which would have been this Saturday, yesterday. I got this paper yesterday. So it's geared for Saturday and Sunday. This is like the weekend Wall Street Journal. Okay. Now let's read a little bit more on prescription for addiction. The United States spends roughly $14 billion a year fighting illegal drugs, often on foreign soil. But America's deadliest drug epidemic begins and ends at home. More than 15,000 Americans now die annually after overdosing on prescription painkillers. And Jacqueline Kincaid was one of those who died. Now, I could protest to that because we are a society that loves our painkillers. Like this old song used to say, bigger the headache, the bigger the pill. Well, we're taking more and more pills. There's a pill for everything. It boggles the mind. How do they do this? How do they come up with these pills? But, you know, all we doing is sweeping the trash under the rug. Because we take one pill that's going to give us another problem. And we got to take another pill for that problem. And that pill is going to bring on another problem. So we are only doing a domino effect to our body. Now, what else can you do? We don't know. It's some things that you have to do to maintain your life. And it's a choice. Either suffer with it or try some herbal remedy, diet, or just don't do anything and just let things go as they must. It's something that we all will have to face one day. And it's a shame that they have these pain pills that are so strong that people are overdosing on. And it makes a lot of money because I know some people, everybody have heard of this. Some people literally do stuff to be able to go to the doctor and get pain pills, either for themselves or to sell them on the street. Now, when you can go spend $100 for a bottle of pills and then go sell them for $12 a piece and make what? All that money, of course, it's going to be done. And one thing that I say about drugs is just leave them alone. You don't need it. All they're doing is ruining your life, your family's life, and it's ruining the community, it's ruining your city, it's ruining your state, and it's ruining the country. And therefore it's ruining the world. Because we are the world. Now, a little bit about this Jacqueline Kincaid. She was 23-year-old, doctor's office receptionist, an occasional model, was a casualty of America's #1 drug menace when she overdosed and died alone in her house in Florida. The drugs killed her didn't come from the Colombian jungles or the Afghan poppy field. 2 of the drugs found in her system were sold to Miss Kincaid legally at Walgreens and CVS shops, the 2 biggest U.S. pharmacists. Both prescription drugs found in her body were made in the United States. The oxycodone in Elizabeth, New Jersey, by a company being acquired by generic drug giant Watson Pharmaceuticals and Company, and the methadone in Hobart, New York, by Covidien Ltd., another major manufacturer. Every stage of their distribution was government regulated. In addition, Ms. Kincaid had small amount of methamphetamine in her system when she died. We're living in a drug epidemic, and it's getting so serious. that people are dying so fast and nobody cares. And I say nobody cares is because it's still being done. They're still getting away with it. And what I can't understand is, take me for instance. I mean, I could be in some serious pain, and I go to the doctor. What he give me? Some old cheap stuff that don't even really work. I can't get no OxyContin because that stuff is high, and I can't afford it. Well, you know, you could go buy it on the street, but still, come on. It's not that serious. That's why I can't understand why is people still getting high. There's so much other stuff going on in the world. There's so much other stuff to do in the world. Why are you spending your time getting high? The U.S. spends around $15 billion a year. I just read that, fighting illegal drugs. Rising opiate abuse means that drug overdoses are now the single largest cause of accidental death in America. The largest cause of accidental death is drugs. What is going on? Paradoxically, the legality of prescription painkillers makes their abuse harder to tackle. There is no Pablo Escobar to capture the kill. Authorities must contend with the influential lobby of industry representatives and doctors who argue against more restrictions, saying they will harm legitimate patients. Legitimate patients. You don't know who legitimate patients are and who not. Or you just don't care. Now, I know some of the doctors that I have went to, they ask you, have you ever had any drug problems, any drug issues, and all this stuff. Of course, if you want some drugs, you're going to say no. But they have to ask to seem like they really trying to do something, which is fine. But come on, you have to get tougher than that. You're going to have to drug test these people. There's one way to get the truth out of a person with all these different avenues they can go with testing. Come on. It's all about that dollar bill. And it's a shame somebody that you love and care about, you have to bury or something because of something that could have been prevented, and that's taking drugs. Because you know what's involved in taking drugs? Going to buy them, putting them in your hand, getting a glass of water. In them few seconds, you could have saved a life, your own life. And most of these family members, friends, they don't care. They sit up there and let you do it. They don't even try to help you. They give up on you. They really do. Because a lot of times they don't want to say anything because they don't want to get on your bad side, especially if they're helping you. They don't want you to stop helping them. So they just let you do what you want to do. Or they just give you up as nothing but trash anyway. It needs to be put out in the garbage. I mean, it's hard to believe, especially black folks. It's hard to believe that we did all this struggling, trying to overcome and trying to get better in life and try to build a better future for our children, and we still want to go out here and ruin our life with drugs. The fight is not nowhere near over. And how can you fight drunk? And these men, these black men, are still must be the stupidest primates in the world. And I say that because my daughter let this man come into her life. Could have been a good woman. Could have they could have had a lot going on. But what he do? He choose to continue to drink and try to abuse her, and she had to call her. Is that what these men do? I mean, I know it's always got to be drugs, alcohol, lack of education. They keep our men locked up. Locked up in their pain, locked up behind bars. They need to free themselves. And that's the only one can do it. You know. Just like I hear about these people always talking about coming up here giving all these um it's help. There's a lot of help out there for people that want it. For child abuse, for domestic abuse, anger management, uh, all these kind of rehabs and stuff. Yeah, you're going to have to want to do it. But I tell you, the only thing that's going to prevent all these terrible habits is stopping it in the just don't even let it come up. And you do that by starting when they're young. That's why I said the school system needs to be revised. It needs to be put out the pastor. And we need to start a whole new school system because the old one is ain't working. All they trying to do is build on a uh, system that does not work. You have to get rid of it and start new. You have to start from the bottom and build up. You can't keep building on a foundation that you already know is ruined. As all they're going to do is keep collapsing. And they don't see that. Every time you turn around, they come up with this new stuff. Oh, well, let's start some Montessori schools. Oh, let's come up with this No Child Left Behind. You know, and just like when they first started with the civil rights, let's get rid of segregation. Let's get rid of excuse me. Let's get rid of busing and all this other stuff. None of that worked. You had to get rid of the whole system. You had to start from the bottom and build up. All you was doing is making it worse by trying to build on this foundation that is missing nails, rusty, and everything else. Because if you look back on when they started this new system, it was not founded on very intelligent people or had everybody in mind. The school system started when blacks were still enslaved or newly out of slavery. The school system started when people were still uneducated. And religious was very a part of that school system. Mm-mm. It's time that gig is up because it's messing our kids up. Because you have to go to school, so then it should be right if you have to go to school. It's the law. Well, you need to make it right. Okay, now I'm gonna get off of here. I enjoyed in talking with you this morning, and I would definitely be back to talk some more about what's going on in the news and what's going out here in our wonderful, beautiful world. And I love you all. Um, and the reason why I can say that is because I have no misconceptions, no preconceptions of anybody. It doesn't matter who you are, what you believe in, none of that. Because I'm just me. I have no affiliations to um, no sect at all. I'm just a part of the, I say this very lightly, a part of the human race. Sometimes I even hate to be called a part of the human race because the human race has become just like animals, more and more. But I will talk with you later. You have a great day.